Mary, the time has come. I can finally talk about the reunion, the Love is Blind Habibi, and the whole shit show that went down. We're gonna lose our minds left and right, but let's try to keep it calm, okay? And I'm mainly talking to myself. I've watched the reunion 2 times already. I lost it every time. I hope I can now give a more diplomatic approach to this commentary. But let's be real, right? I'll probably fail trying. I will fail trying. I'm going to use reunion to provide the commentary, and then I'm going to do like flashbacks of what was happening between the time they got out of the pods and the reunion, like the situation right now. In this way, I can cater to both of you, okay? The ones who never watched the show, you will still understand what was happening, and those who actually watched the full show, you'll get your cookie too. Before we go into it, I want to give a couple of disclaimers because things are gonna get intense. The first thing is that this is only my opinion, and I'm providing commentary based on what is shown. So, if you want to be mad at someone, be mad at Netflix. The second one, which is very, very important. So, this cast is not a representation or a full representation of a culture, region, nations. Like someone commented on my previous video, in any religion, in any culture, you have those who are respectful and loving and those who are not, okay? So let's keep that energy. We are only talking about the individuals on this show. And the last one, in this reunion, there was bullying and emotional abuse, mainly done by emotionally immature men. There, I've said it. Also, there are no perfect victims. If you're trying to neglect what was happening just because you don't like the person, then it also says a lot about you. Are you actually hearing, listening, and watching to what is happening? Or are you just stuck in your own prejudice because you don't like someone? Okay, I think we're covered. You know how we do things here. We narrate, we analyze, we critique, we often judge, and most of the time, we try to pretend to know better and would do better. Hopefully. In this reunion, we have 4 couples. Safa and Muhammad, Dunya and Shafiq, Karma and Ammar, Noor and Mido, Hajar and Simo, and the surprise of it all, Asma and Khatab. Now, if you watched the show, you ain't shook it. But if you haven't watched the show, you're like, yes, how come they are here? As a reminder, Asma and Khatab click in the pods, but there was some kind of problem when the reveal happened. Asma kind of decided to not continue with the experiment, and it was heavily implied that it is because she was not so much pleased with Khatab's looks, mainly his physique. His level of fitness. So here's how things went down. Asma went home, Khatab went home, they did a little thinking, or Asma did a little thinking, and she realized, you know what? I shouldn't judge people by their looks. I have no idea which show she thought she was going on. Asma explains that she was very stressed at the reveal, which we saw, and because she usually goes for a more fit guy, she kind of felt that she needs more time to think.
You know that, and I told you that in the pod.
Yeah.
This is all outside things and they change.
The physical often changes, and what she actually liked about Khatab the most is he still had a very high self-confidence. Now here's where things get a little bit muddy, in my personal opinion, okay? Asma constantly referred to the problem with Khatab is his fitness level, which is, I think that's just used to actually express that she did not like his physical appearance. Because here's the thing, you can be very healthy, you can be very active, and you still are not as maybe people would think that the fitness physique should look like. If you don't find someone attractive, you don't find someone attractive. But don't say, oh, it's the fitness part, it's the health part, because you don't know. You don't know if their body is reflecting of that. And the thing is, they had this conversation in the pods where he expressed that to her. He expressed that lately he didn't manage to go to fitness as much, and she was okay with that. So what is it? Is it the fitness thing or is it the physical appearance? When it comes to Khatab, on the other hand, accepting Asma to come back and do this experiment, I think it shows a level of understanding from his side. I don't look like the type that you usually go for. I understand that. It is okay. It is a reality. And now let's see how we can continue this. At the same time, he is a DJ, okay? So social media and social exposure does come with some perks. Now, the outcome was that they did not get married at the end. And the reason is Asma's parents weren't able to join the wedding. And that's a no-no. In their culture, in their beliefs, it is a no-no for your parents to not be at your wedding or give you off to your husband or future husband.
And we need to get my parents' blessings.
There was no way I could have done otherwise.
And honestly, I was a little bit confused. It's so crazy to me that these people went to the show where there is a clear outcome of the experiment. And then it's almost like, yeah, but I didn't really expect this. So that's what, my parents don't really know. They don't feel really comfortable with this, which again makes me think, why did you go to this show? Why did Asma return to do this experiment with Khatab, knowing that at the end of the day, she won't be even able to say yes, even though they click? She knew that. I don't want to be speculating, but I am speculating. Are they still together? First of all, in the reunion, we see that Khatab went on Ozempic. Probably, potentially, allegedly. I don't know. But losing that much weight in 1 year, it's a bit sus to me, okay? It's a bit sus. But did that help their relationship? Did Asma finally found him attractive and then continued this? No, they didn't continue. Not because of Asma's lack of attraction to Khatab, but because of Khatab's busy schedule. Now, people, I'm going to be honest here. Khatab was one of the people, maybe the only one, who kind of seemed normal in some way, okay? The most normal one. But at this reunion, I was smacked in the face, okay? It is revealed that Khatab actually works day in, day out from 6 a.m. in the morning till 3 a.m. in the morning. So it's his family business and then it's nightlife. And he says that he's sleeping 2 to 3 hours per day, which how? Are you freaking kidding me? If I don't get 8 hours of sleep, I'm like a zombie. When they were in the pods, he actually expressed that he wants to be with someone who is compatible with him, compatible with his lifestyle, that they will support each other, that someone who is also has their own things, but they kind of, they work together. But this, what was, to me at least, revealed at the reunion, that compatible for Khatab means you need to fully adapt to my lifestyle. You see, when he is asked about why didn't it work out, he explains that it is his busy work schedule, but he also adds the famous words.
بس تعرف الشاب بيختلف عن البنت تحب attention تحب حد دائما يتصل فيها.
You know how women are. They need constant attention and validation. I was baffled. I was like, what now? What do you mean? His compatibility had nothing to do with actually two people coming together. Accepting my lifestyle meant I can do whatever I need to do. I will do whatever I need to do. But I guess I need someone at home to do the checklist, right? She will be my wife. I have a family. We will have kids. She will stay at home when that happens. Otherwise, I'm living my life and you live your life. And that's exactly what also Asma expresses. She kind of corrects, or she says that she needs to give a response to what Khatab is saying. And she says that, well, things were not really like that. It's not just about how I wasn't understanding of his work life. It's about the fact that our understanding of compatibility was a little bit different.
I was looking for someone who's emotionally there, physically there, someone can support me, I can support him.
But that was not the case. They barely saw each other, so that's why they decided to quit. They still remained friends though. Now we're gonna bring it up a notch. It's gonna get heated. It's gonna get disturbing. It's gonna It's gonna boil your blood. It all starts with Mido. Shocker. Reminder for those who haven't watched the show, Mido is the guy who actually wanted to be with Asma. She rejected him and he didn't even allow her to explain the rejection because he was butthurt, and he said the famous, "You can't trust girls."
وفي الآخر طلع غلط ما تعملش للبنات.
Despite from the get-go, the show heavily implied that he is the type who is against model type, let's say, right? Who is against people who are focused on their looks and appearances. And then at the end, he chose Noor, and he was ecstatic. He was over the moon when he saw how gorgeous Noor is.
No, I'm fine.
And to me, it showed that Mido is the type of person who hates things because he is rejected by them, not because he actually has a problem with them. Because the second he got a chance of those same things giving him a chance, right? He is like a kid who received a new toy. That's what Mido is giving me with his beliefs and his values. They're all based on, is he rejected or is he not rejected? At the reunion, he says that he made 2 mistakes in the show. The first mistake was to never give Asma a chance to explain herself when she rejected him. He apologizes for that. And to me personally, he's just saving face. But okay. The second mistake he made is giving Noor a chance. So what happened between Mido and Noor? So in the last video, we left Mido and Noor ending the show with 2 very different reactions. Mido was like a kid, mesmerized by how beautiful Noor is, while Noor was not that excited. So when they meet again, this imbalance basically continues. Mido is all over Noor. He is mesmerized by how she looks like a Pocahontas, while Noor is she's not as excited. And she actually has a very serious question for Mido. Would he feel the same way if she wasn't his type?
Do you think إنه مثلاً لو ما كان هيك شكلي على ذوقك أو ما عجبتك كان هالشي رح يغير؟
No.
بشي؟
No.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Boy, please. Isn't it so easy for Mido to say that that is not a problem when he, from his eyes, scored the jackpot? When he himself is so happy with how Noor looks. Isn't it interesting how he does not care about physical appearance and at the same time he is gushing over the way Noor looks and keeps on complimenting her on her physical appearance? Mido, stop pretending to be something you aren't because it serves you. Because here's the thing. From my point of view, Mido is saying that the physical appearance does not matter because he knows that Noor probably doesn't find him that attractive. So now he's trying to almost make her feel guilty that in case she would reject him because of that, she's a shitty person. When it comes to Noor, first of all, I do appreciate that she tried to open the discussion regarding physical appearance. Maybe she was trying to express herself, but I can also see how he even shut down this conversation by implying that she would be a bad person if she would judge someone by their appearances. There is even a moment when he actually attacks her. Why isn't she excited about him?
You know when you feel that someone is like really excited to see you? Yet I didn't feel that.
Clearly showing that it's not about him understanding her or the 2 of them getting to know each other after the pods, but it's all driven from his own fears of rejection. Now, Noor's response to him calling her out, let's say, was like, really? And I was like, bitch, please.
Really?
You're not feeling it, okay? So you also need to be upfront and honest with it. She is even saying that nothing changed for her, which is as delusional as Mido is. It's like, sit down, there is a problem, address it. So the whole time on this vacation, which is the first time to get to know each other after the pod, Mido is pissed that Noor is not giving him the affection that he is expecting, while Noor is taking things slow, right? She's giving it time. She's not rushing anything. There is one thing that I put in my notes, which I find very, very interesting. You see, 100% it is not fair that Noor continued with the experiment, even though it was kind of obvious, to us at least, that maybe there was something that wasn't shown. She wasn't really feeling him, okay? It wasn't doing it for her. But at the same time, Asma did the same. Asma rejected someone because of his physical appearance, and she came back to the show to give them a chance. It is implied that Asma actually gave the chance to Khattab, that they were actually developing a relationship, while Noor apparently wasn't even doing that. What's interesting though is that Noor got much more scrutinized by that than Asma, which does make me wonder, is it because she also has different values when it comes to, I have high standards, I'm a model, and all of these things, that people use that to then judge also her action towards Mido, when at the same time, Asma also did it. When it comes to giving a chance to someone, I think there is also a difference between Khattab and Mido. Khattab seemed like a very understanding person when it comes to how Asma initially rejected him, while Mido is not. Mido is not approaching this situation with some level of maturity and very real understanding and acceptance that physical appearance does matter, but he was almost trying to just push Noor to accept him. If I compare Asma and Khattab and Mido and Noor, as much as both of the girls kind of fucked up, also there is a difference between how Khattab is reacting to the situation and how Mido is reacting to the situation. And in my personal opinion, Mido is very, very immature. The attitude he had towards Noor was actually a result of his insecurities and his fears coming true. So instead of actually giving the relationship a chance or trying to figure between the two of them, and then if Noor is basically just using him, like just walk away, he was also approaching it with, okay, so she doesn't like her because I look a certain way. This model lady, she thinks she's perfect. She's all about, how does my hair look? From this hatred, that's how I saw it. Another thing that kind of pissed Mido off is how she was interacting with Shafiq, because apparently with Shafiq she was very smiley, very flirtatious based on what men perceive as flirting, and some women will get to that, and he didn't like it. He said that she's a totally different person around Shafiq versus Mido. So there is another layer of this jealousy of how he is not good enough or how he is not treated as Shafiq is. And here's the thing. If Noor was really doing that, then yeah, it's shitty. It is 100% shitty. On the other hand, I do feel like, Mido in general was going from that emotion driving him. I personally didn't see Noor interactions with Shafiq as flirty. I saw it as two people talking and laughing, and as much as Noor was participating in conversation, so was Shafiq. But somehow Noor is the bad guy. We'll get to that, I promise you. At the end of the day, if you ask me, the two of them even pairing was, it was a last resort from both sides. Let's not pretend that it wasn't. As much as you can say that Noor was using Mido to get more airtime and so on, you can say that Mido was doing the same. You could also say that Mido was using Noor to make himself feel better, right? That at the end of the day, he got paired with the model. I wouldn't be so surprised if that wasn't the case. They were both each other's second choice. They connected in the last 3 days, and it was a bit of a sus arrangement. The difference was that after the reveal, Mido felt like he scored a jackpot because he was, Noor is so beautiful, while for Noor, it didn't really go that way, okay? So I think that the two of them pairing and agreeing to be each other, from both sides, it wasn't genuine. The outcome when Mido was actually happy about how Noor looks made it look like Mido was actually into her, which I don't believe at all, while Noor didn't even get that, okay? Nothing about Mido was working for her. Here's the thing though, they did not continue with the experiment because Mido decided that he's gonna leave. He left the vacation and he left in his style, butthurt and mad. He didn't even say goodbye to Noor. The guys had to break it down to her. But what I found very telling is how he explain to the guys why he is leaving the place and why he is not giving a chance to Noor. Before going into that, I do want to give the acknowledgement that Mido did talk to Noor and told her that he is, they are just two different characters and he doesn't see this continuing, which was totally fair. But at the same time, he didn't actually allow Noor to say anything, because when Noor tried to say things from her perspective, he just stood up and he like took his mic off and he's like, I don't need to hear you and so on, which again, very immature, very childish. It's not like I can just reject you. I can tell you all these things, but if there's something that you will tell me back, then I'm not here for it. The same as what he did with Asma in the pods.
I listened to you, you have to listen to
I
me.
did. I already did yesterday.
I didn't say anything
That's
yet.
all right, you don't have anything to say.
Now, when it comes to what he explained to the guys, like it was even more clear how Mido is filled with hatred and filled with resentment because of his fear of rejection.
Bro, she needs a slap to wake up from the real life. She doesn't see real life. She thinks life is only artificial.
Barbie.
Looks Barbie. She's a doll.
He tried to make her happy, but all she does is spend her days in her room, doing her hair, doing her makeup, and then in the night, she doesn't have the time to go out. And everything is giving like, I did everything and she is not doing anything. Muhammad actually challenges him on that, if he really did everything. And I think that was quite interesting. You see, we don't see what is actually happening. We just see like certain edits. So the fact that he was questioning him does make me feel like, maybe there are some doubts to what Mido was also saying. Here's another thing. When Mido leaves and the guys actually break the news to Noor, which also kind of took some time because let's see what she knows. Like so disrespectful and so immature. Like, why don't you just tell her? Why do you need to play with her in some way? Like, it's unbelievable, the attitude. But basically, when they tell her, it seems like she explained her side, because Amar even says, well, now when I hear your side, I actually want to call Mido and, maybe the two of you can talk about it. In the same conversation, Shafiq also says that based on what Mido told him, he would also leave her. Which again, to me, it sounded like Mido gave a version that was very one-sided, but when they actually heard Noor's version, they were kind of like, okay, maybe she's not so bad as Mido presented her. So now we get to the reunion where things go down. Mido explains why he feels like choosing Noor was a mistake. And he says that Noor only thinks about material stuff. And she belittled herself when she said on national TV that she wants a table full of food and she's going to do like this when it's time to pay.
هي أمورة. No doubt. ليه أنتي to make yourself a product?
Sure, Asma, it's drama. It's not a man attacking a woman. I have zero tolerance to the type that Mido is. I just no. First of all, he doesn't even explain what was wrong when it comes to Noor based on his direct experience. But he is using what was shown on TV, which was something she said with girlfriends in their quarter. Talk about the things that happened between the two of you. Don't talk about how something was shown on TV where you weren't even a part of it. So what is it, Mido? Is it about what the two of you experienced? Or are you just using the potential backlash that she got from this clip, that she doesn't want to pay for anything and the guy has to do it, to paint her even more as a bad person, to get people on your side? Like, so manipulative. And the second thing, I can understand and agree that you have different values and expectations and standards. But what I don't understand is, how does that hurt you? If she wants to be a product, she can be a product. Why do you think that you can be pissed about the fact that she wants to be a product? What does that have anything to do with you? Why are you so mad about it? If she likes material stuff, she likes material stuff. Why do you need to spread hatred for that? Just one thing just to be clear. In the first video, I also showed how Noor was saying some statements that were a little bit like, okay, you need to sit down and read a book or two. Specifically when it comes that feminism ruined women or whatever, and how delusional that is, or ignorant in itself that is. But the problem is, like, where Mido totally shows his character is that he is attacking her for her wanting, focusing on material stuff, for her wanting financial independency. And that does not hurt anyone, okay? That's her choice. That's what she wants in her life. But he is trying to use that and bully her for that, attack her for that. And he's doing that because he has support of other people. He thinks that it is okay to bash someone if they are focused on material stuff. And I would hope that we are adults enough to understand that you do you. As long as you're not hurting others, that's your choice how you want to live. I personally think that Mido was going after Noor because he was rejected. His worst fear came true. But here's the thing. Mido is so confident in attacking Noor's character because he knows he has support. And his support comes from no other than the other, in my personal opinion, emotionally immature prick, شفيق.
ليه انت تنزلي من نفسك من المستوى ان انت تطلعي قدام الناس تقولي انا اقعد في ترابيزه كبيره ولما يجي البيل اعمل كده.
Value yourself and your man gonna treat you well.
Exactly.
Oh my God. I can't. Okay, I need to. This will be the third time that I'm losing my shit over this. I can't, okay? When people are supporting each other just because they have a mutual hatred against the other person, even though they are clearly in the wrong. This is how it looks like to me. Shafiq is just using also Mido's hatred against Noor to build his own case. What happened between Shafiq and Noor? It all goes down when the group has to meet each other after the pods. But it all starts a little bit before that. You see, Shafiq and Dunya have their date, right? This is after the pods. They are getting to know each other. And when she is alone, Dunya is asked if she is excited to meet the other people. And she is very excited. But also, she's not particularly excited about one person.
نور honestly also لسه ما شاف الفيزيك حقها و let's not lie عندها الفيزيك standard perfect body وزي كده.
She is worried that Noor might try something with Shafiq. Now here's the thing. It's not just that Dunya might feel certain worry or jealousy about Noor. It's fueled by Shafiq's own explanation of how Noor was flirting with him in the pods.
وجربت إنه تتغنج عليه وتقرب منه. أنا ما أتحمل هذا الشيء أبداً.
Now Bis, help me understand this. Weren't you all dating? Weren't you all getting to know one another? Weren't you, Shafiq, flirting left and right with people? Weren't you saying that you want to break down the wall so you can see the person on the other side? I don't remember you not flirting with anyone. I mean, at one point, Noor was even challenging your number one, Dunya, wasn't she? That's what you told us in the pods. So how come now you need to make it a point to share with Dunya how Noor was into you and how you rejected her? Isn't that a bit interesting? Now, I have my theories and let's get into it, shall we? So my thing was this. Why would someone need to tell their future potential wife that they were desired by another person? That there was someone who was into them like crazy, according to Shafiq. And also, that person, obviously, everyone knowing, was the conventionally, physically the most attractive. So like a mod, right? Someone who Dunya might feel a sense of inferiority, let's say. Isn't it also interesting how he is, from my personal view, putting Dunya against Noor before anything even happened, before they even meet one another? The worry that Dunya has for Noor is all based on what Shafiq is sharing with her. Now, there might be that when they were in the pods, the girls together, maybe there was something between Noor and Dunya and both being for Shafiq or something. We don't know that. But based on what we see, right? Right now, it really looks like Shafiq is putting Dunya, like kind of manipulating Dunya to be already prepared when she meets Noor that will be something, pay attention to how she's acting around Shafiq, which is very, very immature and, in my personal opinion, very controlling and very manipulative. And it can happen because Dunya herself is a little bit naive. Dunya is 24 years old and she has never been in a relationship. Not that excuses it, but that does, I can't deny that there is some kind of nuance that we have to acknowledge. So I would say that Shafiq or anyone like Shafiq is doing this to first take away the attention from him. So let's say that Shafiq and Noor meet and, they have a good conversations or they are flirtatious or something like that. He's already preparing that it is Noor's fault, right? Noor is the one who is after him. He has nothing to do with it. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that he is almost making himself be more desirable in front of Dunya. Look, even this person was after me. Almost creating a sense of scarcity for Dunya that she might lose him. He is saying, but I don't care about her, right? Because I choose you, I'm with you, and so on. But the problem is, why are you even saying it? When you say it, that's when you put in the doubt. If you wouldn't say it, Dunya wouldn't be worried about anything. She wouldn't know anything. But the fact that you had to say it, it means that you are playing some kind of game, in my humble opinion. So this was the setup before they meet. Now, when they meet, please explain to me, why is Shafiq livid that Noor doesn't say hi to him as she does for the rest of the cast? Noor and Mido come and they are greeting everyone. They're like shaking hands. And Noor does acknowledge Shafiq, but she doesn't give him a hand. And this pisses Shafiq off.
نور اجت سلمت على كل الشباب وكل البنات ما سلمتش علي.
This is Shafiq.
Hi, ça va?
I don't care.
So when this happens, he actually pulls Dunya aside and he says, this girl, which suddenly she doesn't even have a name anymore. I think I know her. I think we met each other, from Instagram or something.
Un truc parce que la fille là, elle a pas salué, j'ai pas voulu saluer. Maintenant, je sais pas si c'est because of the book qu'elle a pas dit parce qu'elle a salué tout le monde.
Again, we don't know because of the edit, but how it looks like to me, the boy is trying to justify or come up with reasons why Noor didn't say hi to him. And I'm looking at this and I'm confused. I'm like, I'm missing something. Because why does it matter? Especially when you don't care about it. Why? Why? Now, if I lean into, a little bit more, let's say, deeper view. Again, these are my speculations and theories and how I see. I do not know these people and I'm just commenting on what I see on TV. Okay. I would say that he is basically trying to restore or salvage his image when it comes to how desired he is. So now he has to find some mysterious reason why Noor is not saying hi to him, which makes him feel that, he is still in control. There's something wrong on her side why she's not saying hello to me. So he is almost less rejected, right? There's some reason why. The second thing that I was a bit confused, I was like, make it make sense. He goes to his partner, to the person he already established this doubt about Noor and potentially, Dunya feeling insecure regarding Noor, to complain about that same person not saying hi to you and you feel some type of way about it? Am I crazy here? What? Can you imagine your partner complaining to you that the person he knows that you have insecurities about is not saying hi to him and he is kind of hurt by that? Are we serious? Are you really going to tell me that Shafiq actually respects Dunya? That Shafiq is not self-centered, that Shafiq is not about what hurts him, what's happening to him, and how he can get sympathy even from his wife, who is the first person, as in Noor is the other person kind of thing. Well, I would say that Shafiq is a bit obsessed with attention and validation, to the point that it doesn't even matter if it comes to the expense of actually respecting his wife. Again, he goes to Dunya to complain about Noor not greeting him. Let that sink in. But if you think things can get even crazier, oh, you are in for a treat. Which reminds me, I need to take some chocolate because I am losing my mind. After this incident of her not saying hi, Shafiq actually is sitting with Mido and Amar. And he turns to Mido and he says, I tell you something like brother. I think you are much, much better than your girl. Mido is a bit confused. Like, why is he saying that? But Shafiq explains.
I feel she's too much. Because the way she comes, she say hi to everyone. She don't give me the hand. For me, it's irrespectful. Yeah, it's not cool.
Are you serious? Are you trying to... No, I can be calm and talk about this, okay? I can do it. All I can see is Shafiq trying everything to bring Noor down. You see, let's say that he does feel like Noor is too much, or that Mido is better than him, or better than her, or whatever. Why are you saying that to him? As a brother, from your perspective, these two paired. These two have something in common. And your approach is to bring his girl down. Now, we don't know. Maybe Mido was expressing how Noor and him are not really connecting and so on. Maybe he was expressing his insecurities. And Shafiq was trying to reassure him, to build his confidence by saying that he thinks that he's much better than her, right? Let's say that that is the case. Doesn't that also tell you what kind of person is Shafiq? If someone would express that they feel that they're not connecting with their girl, wouldn't you say, why? What is happening? Did you try to talk to her? Why would you take that opportunity to bring the girl down? In this case, to bring Noor down. Pair that with what he said to Dunya about Noor, how she's all over him, how he got pissed that Noor didn't say hi to him. Is it about Mido or is it about Shafiq? Is it ever about anyone than Shafiq? I do not appreciate when you are trying to, maybe in this case, comfort your friend at the expense of bringing down another person. At this gathering, at one point, Shafiq and Noor actually meet up, right? They have a chat together. There is a little bit of a confusion, who approached who, because in the reunion, Noor claims that Shafiq approached her, but in the edit, from my memory, I remember he was sitting behind the table and she kind of came to the table, but we don't know if he kind of said for her to come or, maybe it was set up by the producers, which I would also believe. So they say hi and he asks her, why didn't she say hi to him? Again, calm down, man. This is unbelievable that you have such a problem. By the way, this totally reminds me that Shafiq is actually petrified of rejection. Because this whole thing, him being pissed about Noor not saying hi, is because he wants people to like him, right? He wants people to be all over him, but then he likes to be the one who, kind of rejects. So the fact that Noor didn't say hi to him, for him was like, oh, he's being rejected, and that is just unacceptable. Driven by his own need to be the best. Noor is a little bit surprised, a little bit shocked.
Salut, hi for everyone.
No, you give أعطيتي الإيد to everyone. Then you
really?
هو قال لك أعطي
ولا c'est pas يعني on purpose. ولا أنا بريئة.
Now, I personally am gonna say that it's a little bit... Here's the thing. On one hand, I could see this a little bit as bullshit because you connected with this man. He was your first choice. You gave him a gift. So it's a little bit strange that you wouldn't clock that you haven't had any, physical contact with this person. Okay, that's one thing. On the other hand, Noor was rejected by Shafiq, according to her, in a very wrong way, right? He continued to date her even though he already chose Dunya, and that didn't sit right with her. So it could be that she purposely didn't want to say hi to him. The fact that she's saying, oh, I didn't know it, in a way does feel a little bit like, really, no, really? Or are you just being very, diplomatic and kind and polite when in reality you did that on purpose? So that's when it comes to Noor. But there's another thing that kind of comes to the surface. You see, Shafiq and Noor do know each other. Oh yeah. Noor is looking at Shafiq and she is kind of like, you seem very familiar to me. Have we met before? Was it in Dubai and Shafiq is like smiling and he's like nodding his head. And she's like, really? Right? And he says, Instagram. Don't you find it also interesting how Shafiq apparently knew that he knows Noor? It's not just, I think I know her, because when he talks to Noor, he knows that he knows Noor. So they are talking, they are laughing, and Mido and Dunya are not happy about it. According to Mido and Dunya, Noor is being extremely flirtatious with Shafiq. Mido is saying that the way Noor was laughing and talking with Shafiq, she never had that kind of energy with Mido. When it comes to Dunya,
بسمع ضحكتها من هنا لباكستان فبالنسبة لي هذا الشيء ما I don't like it.
And I don't know why, but again, I do find it very interesting how it's Shafiq and Noor talking, and Shafiq is also smiley. And yet, what is seen is just how Noor is flirting with him. Now, I did find it interesting that Shafiq asked Noor why she's smiling all the time. Like, why is she smiling when she's saying something? Indicating that also Shafiq perceived Noor to be flirtatious. It is not okay that Noor was flirting with Shafiq if she did, in fact, flirt. I personally do believe that both Dunya and Mido were looking through the eyes of already having a problem with Noor. Dunya already having some type of jealousy and insecurity before meeting Noor, and Mido already feeling like Noor is not really into him. So they are looking at her already from that perspective, meaning Shafiq does not exist. Shafiq being in that same conversation with Noor does not exist. How could it be that nor Mido nor Dunya have anything to say against Shafiq? Well, like I said before, Shafiq already set his foundation. Shafiq already created the scenario of how Noor is all over him. Then when she didn't say hi, he already started bashing her to other people. He already said to Mido, oh, you are so much better than her, that he absolved himself from any critique, because if anything is happening, it's not his fault. After this, there is another incident where again, Shafiq and Noor are actually having a conversation, and Dunya is upset about it. She is jealous, and everything kind of goes down a little bit sus, but we're going to talk about it when we get to the dynamics between Dunya and Shafiq, which, if you haven't noticed it so far, are very, very problematic in my personal opinion. So having this backstory in mind, let's get back to the reunion and how Shafiq is basically contributing to Mido bringing Noor down, or Mido attacking Noor in some way. Doesn't it feel a little bit calculated? Doesn't it feel that Shafiq has an agenda to make sure that everyone knows that he's also against Noor? The host asks Noor to give a response to what the men are saying.
يعني بيقولوا الصراحة النهايات أخلاق، فهلأ عم شوف الأخلاق قدامي.
And people, look, I'm gonna be very, very honest. Noor was not my favorite in the pods and so on. She has values that I don't align with. And, it's not like someone, wow, I like her or blah, blah, blah. But the way she handled this reunion, the way she handled the backlash and attack, chef's kiss. She starts by referencing a quote. The endings show the morals. And according to her, she is seeing those morals right now in front of her. How these two men are attacking her. She also wants to clarify the difference between someone being cheap and someone having standards. Now, between the two of us, even using the word cheap girl versus a girl with standards, to me, it's kind of like, oh, let's calm down. That's problematic in itself. But what she was trying to say is there is a difference between someone who only thinks about the material and is after men for financial gain or for financial dependency versus someone, and she's referring to her, who grew up having certain standards, who grew up in a family where a woman is always spoiled, is always taken care of, and she is actually expecting that same lifestyle. So that's what is the two difference. Then she makes a little bit of a dig to Mido, which, is it okay to come after someone? No. Was he coming after her the whole time? Yes. Did she do it the right way? In my personal opinion, yes. So she says,
بدي اشرح له بس شو يعني standards لانه شكله الفوكابولير بالانجلش عنده شوي بدون مراجعه. standards هي البنت.
I'm going to explain what do standards also mean because it seems like Mido is not the best in English. So maybe that's what is confusing him. Which honestly, class, but still roasting him. Again, how everything went down and how I also felt that Noor was attacked, it kind of felt, it felt a good roast. Mido obviously does the face like, you see how she is, and I want to slap him because what? Again, you can dish it out, but you cannot accept it. Sit down. She continues, when someone is emotionally overreacting, it actually shows that they are lacking self-confidence. According to her, Mido is projecting or was also projecting his own insecurities to the person in front of him, in this case, her. And Bis, do you have anything to say? Like, Noor is spitting facts. With one sentence, she called out Mido, Shafiq, and every man who thinks that putting up a tantrum is his right and not his immaturity. One of them sitting on that couch with them, but we'll get to Amar. As she's expressing this, it's clear that some people are failing to hear what she's saying because Shafiq cuts her off and yells that.
كثير حقيقية واللي حكيته قدام الكاميرا هي حقيقتي هي أنا بالحياة العادية.
You're looking for the ATM machine. You're not
Please أنا عم بحكي يا ريت ما تقطعني.
Point proven. And Noor is acting better than I would probably be able to because or maybe I would put on that, you know what? I'm confident in what I'm saying and I don't need to make it a fuss here. She continues in a very calm and assertive manner and she says to Shafiq that he should respect her and not interrupt her because now she is the one talking. This was also a clear example of someone expressing their stances out of their own confidence or belief in what they are saying versus someone who is just reacting emotionally, reacting out of anger, driven by insecurities. Because while Noor, though she is roasting people, is actually spitting facts and actually talking about general behavior between two people, the two men are just attacking her character. That's all they do. What they are saying is nothing profound or something that I would say, well, yeah, they're right. For example, if they would say, I don't know, I don't think it was fair that you continued with Mido if you didn't really want to continue with him, right? It's not that. It's, you are looking for ATM machine. It's very immature. She finishes by saying that she has advice for two people, Mido and Dunya. Both of them should be working on building their self-confidence. And people, the way Shafiq loses it when Noor mentions Dunya, does not mean that he is protective of his wife. Just shows how controlling he is. Because he doesn't even allow Dunya to speak for herself.
You don't have nothing to say to Dunya. She don't need your advice. How more confident than you? She's a classy woman.
Now, ain't that true love? Somehow, Dunya actually manages to express herself, even though Shafiq is, yelling over her or whatever. And she says that she would accept advice from any woman but Noor. On one hand, you might say that it was very inappropriate for Noor to give advice to Dunya about self-confidence. Like, why are you addressing her? I can understand that some could see that perspective. Me personally, we need to take in consideration that the show was aired. So Noor did see how Dunya was worried about Noor, why she's flirtatious, that she's jealous of her and so on. And I genuinely believe that her comment was because of that. You know, she was also in a way going against Noor during the show due to her own insecurities and not so much about Noor. Dunya saying that she would accept any advice or advice from any of the girls except for Noor does also show that she herself has a very, you know, there's some kind of hatred or resentment against Noor. On one hand, I have to say I was a bit surprised watching it because I did expect Dunya to be a little bit more mature in a way. But then on the other hand, like we cannot neglect that she's with a man who keeps on bashing Noor. She was pitted against Noor before anything even started, and she herself has insecurities, right? Also, it's been a year since the show ended, so we don't really know what happened in that year. Like, who knows everything that went down. Noor, though, explains what she means by that, what she means by giving, you know, Dunya an advice to work on self-confidence. If Dunya is not going to work on feeling secure in herself, there's going to be 1,000 other Noors.
فهي بدل ما تحارب البنات اللي عم تلتقى فيهم وعم تحس بانسكيورتي تجاههم، تشتغل على ثقتها بحالها وثقتها بالبارتنر اللي معها، لأنه رح تكون عم تحارب على الجبهة الغلط.
Serving people, Noor was spitting facts. I loved how she was articulating herself. Do I agree with everything she says? Not really. But when it comes to these statements that I shared right now, she was eating, she was serving, she was actually giving a really good advice to Dunya and any other woman that is in this position. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, Dunya is not in the headspace to actually hear what Noor is saying because she is in relationship with Shafiq. She's in this bubble. And in that bubble, there is also Mido. Because Mido needs to add that no. If Dunya wasn't a confident person, Shafiq would never be with her. And Shafiq knew Noor even before the show.
Simple as that. Dunya is 100% genuine since she came in the show.
ادعاء المثالية.
Like he did something. You see, this is when people who are not mature, like honestly, I don't find Mido at all mature. They say something and they think that they did something, right? And it's a what do you mean? What does this sentence even mean? First of all, how do you know that Shafiq wouldn't be with someone who isn't confident? How do you know that confidence has anything to do with the fact if Shafiq is with Dunya or is with Noor? What are you talking about? Also, someone can be confident or seem to be confident but be very insecure. And I personally think that that is Dunya. I think her confidence is very fragile and very based on this purity, purity validation, or you know what I mean. Shafiq starts clapping. I kid you not. I am not making this shit up. He starts clapping, and not only is he clapping, he grabs Khattab's arm and gestures him to clap also. And Khattab starts clapping. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Even Khattab, who presented himself as someone who is understanding, who sees life a little bit more, you know, at least it looked like a bit more aligned with equality, starts clapping when men are bashing another woman. Ta-da! Perfection. To me, it also showed how men stick together, at least this cast stuck together, even though the way they were handling things was clearly in the wrong. No one was kind of being on Noor's side, even though she was totally right. I did feel like the girls were quiet, but they were agreeing with her. They were just not interjecting in the conversation until Karma did, and we'll get to that. But when it comes to men, there was such a quick gang, you know, they were ganging up against Noor, while the girls were more like just sitting there and kind of taking it. Dunya is trying to make sense. But to me personally, she kind of made it partially. Like, she also lost me quite quickly. So she starts by saying the way she felt jealous when they all met together, it's normal for a girl to feel jealous when she feels like something is not Right. And I agree. You know, it's not like, oh, you shouldn't be jealous. The difference is when you are jealous, first of all, who is it directed at? And also, what does that jealousy mean? And you actually focus on that. But then she says that she also has the right to be jealous on his part because she loves him. So it has nothing to do with Noor.
And I have the right to be jealous for him because I love him and I care for him. It has nothing to do with you.
And I'm like, what? What do you mean? That's given. The whole point was that Noor is not the problem. So Dunya is saying how she is jealous because of Shafiq and it has nothing to do with Noor. But at the same time, she keeps attacking Noor, that Noor is the one who is creating this jealousy. Do you need to take a breath and to kind of do you need to write down and kind of see what are you saying? Like, I'm lost. The whole attitude Dunya has is how Shafiq is the poor victim who is seduced by women. Oh, you know the type. Oh, you know the type that needs to grow up. Dunya is also totally blind. She is clueless about what is actually happening. She does not see that her man is attacking another woman. Now, here's the interesting thing. If your man is so perfect, and if he is all that, how come he connected with Hajar and Noor, the two types that you apparently don't like? Or, okay, she never said anything about Hajar, but Noor that you clearly don't like. Doesn't that say also something about him? He even connected with her before the pods. And then in the pods, she was also one of his choices. Like, are we forgetting that? Dunya keeps missing that the common thing here is Shafiq. Dunya also continues by saying how God created everyone beautiful and so on, and that that's not the point. And again, yes, woman, that's what we all already know and understand. That's what Noor is trying to tell you. It is not about the physical appearance. It is about you feeling threatened by other women. Okay? Because there will be many other women, many different, how they look like, how they behave and so on. That's not the point. The point is, what is the level of security that you have in yourself and with your partner? So again, Dunya it almost feels like she's not grasping what the conversation is about from my personal perspective. But don't worry, because Mido is going to come to the rescue.
سوري تو انتربت يعني انت كفايه ان انت جمالك طبيعي بجد.
يسعد لي قلبك يا اخوي يسعد لي قلبك والله.
Yes. If you are not convinced by now that the trio, Mido, Shafiq, and Dunya, are not in the right at all, I hope this gives you the clarity you needed. Because the thing that makes Dunya even more valuable than Noor is that she is natural. Unbelievable. And the fact that Dunya says, thank you, I lost all respect for her. There is a soft spot because I think that Dunya is also, in a way, in the illusion that her inexperience and her purity, in this case, natural beauty, is what makes her worthy. And I do think it is because also of the society around her who values, someone being pure and inexperienced and this and that. And as much as I hate that I don't agree with her at all and she lost all respect from my side, I also do believe that hopefully she will learn that that's not what makes her actual worthy or valuable. In a way, it is so comical when you think about, when you're actually seeing this situation where Dunya thinks that, Mido is on her side or Mido is super. No, Mido is using the situation to again bash Noor. Dunya, darling, it has nothing to do with you. These two men, as much respect as they are showing to Noor, they also have for you. The thing is that right now, you are meeting their expectations and standards. That's why they're on your side. But do something differently. And let's see how much respect they will actually have for you. Dunya is delusional. She's the pick-me. Actually, she's the pick-me. She thinks that I'm not like the other girls. That's why men like me, because I'm the correct one. I'm the perfect one. Failing to realize that version of the perfect woman is based on what men expect, not what women potentially actually want to be. But because it's not over, Mido continues. He says, I guess he needs to reestablish his understanding of the English word standards. And he says,
جمالك doesn't set standards. You're educated. أقعد أتكلم معاكي. You have standards.
and according to Mido, Noor is empty. All she has is, the looks. Noor says, actually, I have 2 degrees and I speak 3 languages.
By the way, للمعلومات إنه أنا بدالي شهادة معي 2.
Mic drop again. She is, I love the situation where these, men here and also Dunya, based on trying to make sense, but it's actually just based that they don't like Noor for whatever their reasons. And they're just like, bah, 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 bah. And then Noor just says, pa. And they're like, pa, 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 pa. Pa. And they're like, that's how it looked like to me, because he just made a full speech of how Noor has nothing but looks. And then she says, actually, if you'd care to know me, to get to know me, and if you wouldn't be judging me based on my looks from the get-go, you would actually know that I have 2 degrees and I speak 3 languages. So what education and intellectuality am I missing according to you? She was exposing him with class, with calmness and diplomacy. Like, she didn't even have to do all this, what he was doing. And she was destroying him by actually showcasing him how flawed his views are, because he himself is focused on only physical appearance. The very fact he's accusing her of being. Bis, please. But you know how Mida is going to react, right? He's going to show us how mature he is. Yes, he will. Probably because you have something for Shafiq. Honestly, people, I was shocked that like a 40-year-old person is acting this way. And then I was also kind of like, well, yeah, I've heard this is the reality. He is saying that the fact that he didn't even know about these things about her, it's not because he didn't try to get to know her and he was just focused on, not being rejected, but because she in any case wanted Shafiq. Oh my God. People, it went down so fast, like for him and for the whole gang on that side. Like, wow. Honestly, I don't think it was okay that the hosts in general were allowing this attitude towards Noor, like these men and Dunya also attacking Noor. But at the same time, a part of me, it's kind of like this thing of, unfortunately, I feel bad what Noor went through. That was not okay. But at the same time, her hurt allowed us to also see how these people actually are. The 3 people that were attacking her. Like, it gave us actual understanding how wrong this was. Because if they wouldn't show it on TV, I think this would continue in showing how Noor is the wrong or whatever. When now it couldn't be more clear that Mido himself was not being fair in this experiment, let alone Shafiq or Dunya, in their attitude towards Noor. Noor expresses that she's confused. She's shocked that what is this gang up against her? Like, why do they have such a problem with her and how she wants to live her life? Like, what's the problem? And honestly, I think that's what all of us were wondering. Like, what is your problem? People, let the woman be. But then again, well, think about it. A man who presented himself from the get-go, how he doesn't like people who are all about appearances, but then he himself is over the moon when Noor is, his wow, beauty, looking like Pocahontas, and then gets butthurt when things don't work out, right? Now, suddenly she's again the worst person ever and all about appearances. Okay. A man who is so self-centered and desperate for attention that he even needs to put other people against the person who rejected him, who didn't say hi to him. And a woman who prides herself on being pure, no boyfriend, no experiences, and having this natural beauty, having the right values of a woman in a society. I mean, the pairing is... But there is another person who enters the show or the conversation. Amar. Amar calls out Noor, in his opinion, that she came to Love is Blind. And if she would be focusing on love, she wouldn't leave the show without anyone. And Noor is kind of like, okay, Mr. Perfect.
مين راح معك انت؟
انا ما
اي
راح
وحده
أطلع.
تتمنى عمار.
Amar is like, but Dunya quickly comes to the rescue. Any woman would be happy to be with Amar. And that told me everything also about Dunya. As much as she was presented as this, innocent or inexperienced or naive type of person, she is freaking delusional. Amar, the controlling type that made people not interact with Karma once he decided that he wants her. Oh yeah, Amar is perfect, but that's not even all. And we'll get to that. At one point, the host again asks Shafiq, like, what does he think about all of this? And Shafiq starts by saying, I don't want disrespect Noor, and proceeds to disrespect her, okay? I don't want to insult her, and proceeds to insult her.
Like, looks, it's not only like, sorry, I don't know, sorry, I'm talking in general. Heck, no.
Just because you say it, I don't want to, it doesn't mean that you're not doing it. But I can see that you are saying, I don't want to disrespect her, because that makes it seem like you are talking objectively. That makes it seem like you're talking facts. But you're not. You are in fact insulting her and disrespecting her, driven from your own subjective perceptions. Now, if you haven't kind of got the gist yet, like what was happening, honestly, from my personal view, was very dangerous. First of all, the attacks that were coming from Shafiq and Mido towards Noor in itself was like, that was abuse, right? Like I said, I appreciate they didn't cut it because it actually showed us who these men are. But at the same time, it was emotional abuse. The second thing is, if we take in consideration that these people are coming from regions where, from my understanding, there is still high, a man has a higher saying, let's say, or higher value than, correct me in the comments below, but let's say men are more the guidance. Can you imagine men attacking another woman? And can you imagine this broadcasted? Luckily, it's international TV. And hopefully, even if it's national TV, that people do see it as problematic. But if the culture is still predominantly, man is right and so on, can you imagine what kind of impact does this have on the women in the cast? And in this particular case, Noor. A part of me feels also a little bit like them. I mean, the courage it has to take for her to sit there and also to kind of stand up for herself. I think it was handled very risky. Very, very risky. At one point, I was a little bit like, this is beyond just people there fighting. Like, what kind of impact will that have in the outside world? Karma is also one of the ladies who calls the problematic behavior out. And she kind of says that what they're doing is not okay.
مش حلو نتريق على شكل الناس ابدا شفيق. سيل تبلي ما بصير تحكي على بنت وكنا بنات قاعدين هون. كل نيفو.
Comment on dit corbeau?
غراب مثل اللي انت لابسه.
Hajar also adds that this is unacceptable, that these are men actually attacking women, that what is going on here? Oh, but Simo wants to clarify. You see, they're not just men. They're worth hundreds of men.
احنا مش رجال، احنا 100 رجال.
People, I'm not making this shit up. Instead of him recognizing that men are attacking women, he focuses on how women are saying that these are not real men because real men wouldn't attack women. And he is saying we are worth hundreds of men. Now that's the mentality. Now that's the mentality of this person and many in that cast. All of this finally leads to the host intervening, which I think should happen way before. And also Noor kind of says it under her breath that this should be done sooner, right? It took too long. They allowed these men to attack her way too long. The host is a bit, diplomatically pissed. Like, she is triggered by what just transpired. She is not okay with the attacks that are happening. And she also says that just because a relationship ended does not give you the right to bash the other person. It looks like everyone kind of gets a little bit shy. They get scolded by someone, not realizing that themselves are adults. And the host actually decides to, let's focus on someone else right now. And they decide to focus on Safa and Muhammad. And as much as they're trying to keep it calm, it's gonna get heated again. What happened with the rest of them? People We are gonna talk about it in the next video. Honestly, I thought that I can get through all of the points in this video, but if I think about how much I still have to talk about, we haven't even gone through what happened between Shafiq and Dunya and the problematic things around there. Hajar and Simo, Karma and Amar. I'm gonna leave it for the next video. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about everything that we just discussed. And as always, trust your individuality.